everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you are having a great Saturday and an amazing weekend so far. My name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion. I like to say, hey, stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. That after almost 200 episodes, we'll be hitting 200 episodes this year. You got to know I love this industry, and so super excited to be here every weekend, every Saturday, bringing you the latest and greatest in the industry and great creators within the industry. You know the drill. This is always an interactive show. Jan Tarmond, hello, and welcome to the show. Your first time, and if it's your first time, say it's your first time. So we give you a shout. Can't wait for the episode. Definitely, I've been looking forward to this. I always love. This is a former family member or a family member coming back on the show. I always love when family come back to the studio and kind of just, update us with what's been going on and everything like that. So super looking forward to diving into what's been happening with him. He was on in season 1. He was my 15th guest in my very first season. So he's come back on. We're going to dive into all of that good stuff there. Like I said, I appreciate you joining me each and every Saturday afternoon. We're here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on the YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and the Facebook and the website for the show. But I do always encourage everybody to hop on over to the YouTube channel, get plugged in, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're notified when all the great content goes up, and that you can join us when the show goes live. Definitely plan on, putting a lot more great content up on the channel. So definitely want you to be plugged in for sure. I said I was going to be mindful of doing this more, even though it's a little hard, but buymeacoffee.com/Don Terrell. I love a great cup of coffee that helps me to continue to create great content and put it up on the channel. So you can go there, donate whatever you want. Every little bit helps me to continue to do what I do, content creating. Buymeacoffee.com. I love a great cup of coffee. Also, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor for the show, DG Graphics. They do all the graphics, overlays, animations, and basically make us look good. So if you're a business or a brand that's looking to level up your brand content, create engaging content that connects with your audience, you definitely want to reach out to them. So big thank you to DG Graphics for always sponsoring the show. Like I said, I am super, super, super excited about today's episode. I've been looking forward to it for a while. Super excited to have him back on and all that good stuff. Again, while I'm making sure that we're rocking and rolling on all our channels, again, hop into the comments, say hey, where you're tuning in from. When is he coming? He is coming as soon as I get done with all little housekeeping stuff. I can see you're excited about this. Savar 7 Art. S Art has always been an inspiration. So yeah, Sava, always been an inspiration for you. I love his work too. That's why I had him on. That's why he's a part of the family, because he does great work. I think I got all the housekeeping, pretty much all the housekeeping stuff out of the way for the most part. I think we can kind of get this show on the road. What do you say, huh? Oh, did I freeze up there? Let's go. Wow, we are back and ready to get this show started. I'm like I said, I'm super excited about my next guest and sitting back down with him and catching up with what's been going on with him. Just to let you know, my next guest, he's an artist, animator, illustrator, director, writer, producer, and part-time Hobbit. Over the last 30 years, his work has brought some of the world's most beloved characters to life in film, television, comics, and games. From Casper the Friendly Ghost to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Star Trek to Spider-Man. His unique talents and vision have been called upon by Marvel Comics, Disney, Universal Studios, Nickelodeon, and too many more for me to name. In 2000, he founded Blue Dream Studios, which has produced work for Star Wars, X-Files, Aliens vs. Predator, Spider-Man, and other franchises. In addition to creating his own line of kids' graphic novels, the studio's first feature film, Animal Crackers, is on Netflix, which was when we had him on. Netflix, he had just gotten his film on Netflix, and it's still on Netflix. If you have Netflix, make sure you check it out. It's a fun family animated movie. I loved it. It's definitely bookmarked on my list in Netflix, and was the summer of 2020's #1 animated movie in the world. Currently, you can find him making videos online to over 4 million followers where he talks about art, autism, and how to be a kinder artist and human. He lives with his wife and 2 kids in a Hobbit hole in Tennessee. His mission, simply put, is to make the world a kinder, gentler place, one story at a time. Everybody, please help welcome back our very own family member and friend, Mr. Scott Christian Sava.
I'm back.
Scott's back.
So good to be here.
Welcome back, Scott. Like I was telling you before, I always love when family comes back to the studio and just updates with what's been going on with them. And we were just talking beforehand. It's been 5 years, since you were on, in season 1, for sure. Thank you, Baron Tarman, for subscribing. We appreciate that. We have a new subscriber to the channel, so I want to thank you for that. But I want to ask you, because again, like I said, when we had you on the first time, Animal Crackers was just, getting on Netflix and, it was just, gaining steam. I want to ask you how it's been in between that time. What has, doing Animal Crackers and Netflix kind of done for, your career, what it's kind of changed in that 5-period span?
It's been, Animal Crackers came out at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
And so, it was chaos. And everything that's happened to me over the last 5 months sprouted from that chaos, with just us not leaving the house. And we have one of our twin boys has an autoimmune disease. So I think we were extra careful when it came to, all of that. And so I just turned to art. I just started making art and found out about TikTok, started making TikToks, and that became something that I just made a movie. I just wrote and directed a movie. I thought I'd be making more movies, but with COVID and a lot of what had happened from that, the opportunities to make another movie just never really materialized despite the film's success. So this turned into being a new career, just out of, it was like a complete left turn. Just my career just went in a completely different direction. And I think where it all started to come together was young artists would ask me questions. How do you draw faces? What do you do with, how does a pencil sharpener work, or whatever the simple question was? It was like, and at first I kind of looked at it like, these are really basic questions that I never asked anybody growing up, because I grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and we didn't have the internet.
Yes.
So we just had to figure stuff out ourselves. And but I found that this younger generation has a wealth of knowledge at their fingertips, and they know to ask, which is a wonderful thing. And so I thought, well, let me answer it in the kind way that I would answer it my kids. If my kids asked me that, I would take the time and the patience to respond with kindness. And so I started to do that, and I think that's kind of how my channel formed. Was a little bit of Bob Ross, a little bit of Mr. Rogers, and
Yeah.
and so that's kind of how it really kind of came together. And 5 years later, we have 4 million subscribers, and I've got a book coming out. So
Yeah.
it's funny because we made that movie, and the movie was so fun to make, and it did so well on Netflix. But I think I've impacted more lives with the YouTube channel, with
Yeah.
TikTok,
Yeah. With the art
and
and your
that's,
videos that you're doing. Yeah.
yeah. You have a better chance of speaking one to one with people this way, and so I'm grateful for that. I've just have a chance to make a bigger impact than I could have with the movies.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And we're going to take a look, one at the book, and then some of your artwork here. Definitely, Mr. Dewan. Appreciate you tuning in. Happy Saturday to you, there, brother. Don, and welcome, Scott. Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you, and I'm glad, Dewan, you showed up. Because I didn't the last time, because I don't even think I realized it, that you're on the autistic spectrum, and you talk
I
about
wasn't diagnosed until 3 years ago,
Yeah.
so it
Oh,
was
okay.
after. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So what led to, because Dewan, he was on, and he's on the autistic spectrum, super talented artist. Dewan was on, but he was on the autistic spectrum, and I have a friend that he does podcasting and podcasting consulting, and he's on the autistic. He has autism, and we talk a lot about just being a creative
Yeah.
with autism, and depending on where you're at on the spectrum, type of thing. One, what was it that kind of triggered that was something that you might have? You said you just realized it 3 years ago, and like I said, going through the process of making a film, I would figure something would kind of come up that might.
Oh God, there were so many. My entire life has been. Once we got the diagnosis, it's looking back in your life, going, "Of course, it makes so much sense,"
Yeah.
But what led to it was a young family member who was diagnosed and didn't like the stigma of autism. Autism for younger kids in school, they get teased, and it's like a slur that people, what are you, autistic, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they were very upset about it, and in trying to console them, I said, well, you do this and so do I, and you do this and so do I, and you do this and so do I. And they said, well, then you go get tested. And just to make them feel better, I did. And I found out I was autistic too. So you could say I did it on a dare, but it was funny because they were autistic and ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that I'm more autistic than they are, but no ADHD. And so I got the autism much worse than they do.
Yeah.
And so, but then it's been the last 3 years of learning what it is about autism, coming to terms with my childhood and my entire life of being an autistic kid with no support, being put into my therapist had a great saying. They said, you were put into situations that were too much, too fast, too soon. You weren't ready for the things that were put on you. And that in itself was traumatic.
Mm.
And for me, trauma, my entire life, I would have panic attacks. And so that leads up to say animal crackers. I was medicated. I was on Xanax for meeting Sylvester Stallone today, popping Xanax. And I was just so drugged out for the entire experience because of all of the panic attacks.
Oh man.
So,
Jeez.
so,
Well, do you think
you
you
know,
would handle it differently now? I mean,
I
the
hope so.
experience of making a film and doing a project, now that you know that you know, have autism and are, you know, working to control it, do you think you would handle it differently?
I've learned to advocate for myself, and that's the big thing. So for me, my biggest triggers are just overstimulation. My brain can't process multiple stimulations at a time. So
Mm,
like the worst thing would be for me to be in a crowded room.
mm,
And I even made a video about it because I was trying to explain to my 86-year-old mom why I've always had panic attacks in restaurants.
yeah.
And so I made a video about it, how I perceive um, trying to have a conversation with someone, how I hear everybody talking at the same volume. I hear every clink of the plates. I hear people,
Yeah.
typing on their phone. I hear the cars outside, the air conditioning, the music,
Yeah.
all of that at the same level, and my brain can't process that. So I think once you start to realize what type of autism you have, how it affects you, you can start, like I can wear headphones now, noise canceling headphones when I go out. And that helps me. So that way I'm not getting overwhelmed and I don't have panic attacks.
Yeah.
It doesn't completely stop a panic attack because there's other senses, there's smells, there's sounds. I mean, with the smells, there's sights, there's, just the feeling of your clothes. If you're sweating, on your back, or the, how, you know, whatever it might be, but there are so many other stimulation that's always just kind of attacking. But once you learn how to advocate for yourself, it means I don't have to pop Xanax just to leave the house.
Yeah.
It means I can start to at least be authentically me and learn how to navigate the world
Yeah.
in the way that's best for me.
Well, I can only imagine how it was on the like press junket. If you did have to do any press junket for the, which I'm sure you did for the film, just that kind of craziness of, just circus of promoting the movie for Netflix type of thing. I can only imagine.
I used to go to Comic-Con. Comic-Con in San Diego and have a booth. And I'd be there early in the morning because it was quiet. And then I would wait. And then just the throngs of people would come in and all of the noises and everything. And then I would have a panic attack about halfway through the day. And then I would come back and finish up the day. And everybody would say, come on, we're going out for drinks. We're going out for dinner. I was gone. I would just lay down on the bed and I would just sleep till the morning because I was just so exhausted from just trying to not freak out. And I didn't know. And everybody just thought I was being antisocial. I was just
chalking up to.
Yeah.
Antisocial.
But you get used to it as best as you can. I'm sorry, you get used to being called antisocial. Yeah. You don't get used to the panic attacks and everything. But yeah, I have so many wonderful memories of animal crackers, and I'd love to do it again, but I'd love to do it again without all of the Xanax.
Yeah.
And just, be myself.
Well, and I want to dive into, because obviously, like I said, a lot's changed in that 5-year span when you did Netflix. Just the way the industry is gone and going during this time, how creators are now kind of taking control of their own kind of IP. We have all these channels that we can kind of do our own kind of thing, so to speak. What is your kind of thought on just the industry today and where it's at? Where now, hey, if I have a animated film that I might want to get out, or even animated short, I may not necessarily, although, Netflix and the big ones obviously, have the distribution, but now we have distribution as far as YouTube and getting things out there. You're killing it on TikTok, and the
Yeah.
videos that you're putting out there, you're directly able to go to your audience. We're directly able to go to our audience now and speak with our audience like I'm doing, and monetize our skills in a lot of different ways. How do you see the industry today, and the things that are going on today with creators and kind of being multidisciplinary in what we're trying to do?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I've noticed is your subscriber count is currency now in the industry. If you have a few million followers, that's more to Hollywood now than being a B-list actor or something like that. Like, people look at that, and I think a lot of that is because you have a built-in fan base. We as creators are now um, influencers in that way, and we're like the stars, like the movie stars. And it's funny because I have to do like a book tour now, and I don't want to be the star. That's what I liked about Animal Crackers was I can make John Krasinski or Sylvester Stallone or Emily Blunt or Danny DeVito talk about the movie, and that's who people wanted to see. They didn't want to see me, but now I have to be the star, and I'm not thrilled about that at all. But it's definitely, we have more clout in the
Yeah,
industry than we did before, and that's because we come with our own built-in audience.
yeah. Well, do you feel like you're having to make that change because you're now building your brand, and your brand is you, as
Yeah.
far as being out there, that type of thing? Do you feel like that's the thing now? Like you said, you're having, trust me, I get that with a lot of guests. I don't want to come on the show. I like just creating that type of things, and I get it. But like I said, now that we're in this age of, like I said, social media, marketing ourselves, branding ourselves as a brand, and
Yeah.
monetizing that. Do you feel like that's kind of propelling you forward to be the face of, like I said, more out there for your brand?
100%. I did not want to make a TikTok. I didn't want to have a YouTube channel. That wasn't something that I wanted to do. I liked being behind the scenes. But um, I've been able to affect change and help people so much more in front in front of the camera, rather than say behind it. And
Yeah,
so I think there's I don't want to say it's a burden, but there's a responsibility
yeah,
with that. And if you're able to do that, um, use it to make the world a better place. So I I'm happy. I mean, having the channel got me my book deal. I'm sure if I get another movie, it's going to be because of my channel. So
yeah,
I'm sure it's going to help me career wise. But the biggest takeaway from all of that is the fact that this channel is a way for me to make a difference in the world,
yeah,
more
yeah.
so more so than I could with a story about a box of magical animal crackers.
Yeah. But well, like I said, but you'd be surprised of the impact that might have made on
I,
maybe a storyteller, and that's what I think we don't realize as creatives, the kind of ripple effect
yeah,
that what
no,
we
you're
do,
absolutely right.
kind of, because
Yeah,
it made obviously a big impact on me just watching. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I want to reach out and connect with them, because I
yeah,
saw it, and I really enjoyed Animal Crackers, and that's how we got connected.
yeah.
So
And
you
I've heard
never
a lot of
know.
wonderful stories about how young people grew up. They were watching it when they were younger, and how much they love it, and it's one of their favorite movies, and that's amazing. I and I don't take that lightly. It's just there's a much different relationship you have with the audience
Yeah,
with a YouTube channel or a
yeah,
TikTok, and
yeah,
that's the thing that is so powerful that you can't get with movies. You can't get with a television show. I mean, think about when we were growing up. we never could have reached out to any of the musicians or the actors other than writing them fan mail and hoping one day we'd hear
Yeah.
back. But now, I mean, I've had some of my favorite musicians, you know, at least I know that they saw,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
watch.
my videos. They commented, they left it, hey, this is really great, or they shared it, or whatever it might have been. And one of my son's proudest days was he I convinced him somehow to be in one of the videos because I've been doing these little mini album covers that I give away at the art store, and he'll give me some that he thinks are cool, and so he wanted me to do an album cover for Common, and he kept it, and so I was like, well, if you're gonna keep it, if you're not gonna let me give this away, then you got to be in the video. And so we did a little skit where he skateboarded by me and he took it out of my hand and he skateboarded away, and I posted it, and Common shared it on his Instagram, and to this day that's the
Nice.
happiest day of his life, you know. So Common knows who I
Forget
am,
dad
you know.
made a film and all of that kind of stuff.
Yep, doesn't matter, you know. That was the pinnacle of his 22 years.
Oh man.
And
But that goes to show you just never know who is watching your content and who sees
exactly.
your content, you
Yeah.
know.
And there's that's the magic of social media,
Yeah.
is it has a just a remarkable reach, and also an intimacy.
Yeah.
It's very personal, and I try to respond or like at least every comment, which is hard to do across 4 million followers, you know, across all the different
Yeah.
channels. But I do my best to still try to keep up, because I think that's the most important thing, is to maintain that relationship as best as you can. And
Yeah.
you know, it's that's impossible for Hollywood stars or musicians or authors or any other kind of medium.
Yeah. But you appreciate those ones because there are those, I guess there are those celebrities, stars that, you know, they're active on their social channels. Some have
Yeah.
assistants doing that stuff. But you appreciate the ones that do. They may not, obviously can't comment to everybody and they don't want to, but they
Yeah.
will comment if they see something that strikes them,
Yeah.
know, and they want to comment and reach out. So you appreciate those ones that really do that. And like, even in the ones, you know, they have a lot of followers and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, he would never comment back to me. And I was like, wow, okay. Geez, it just throws you off guard.
You know, that's actually I don't know when it was. I don't know if it was before the movie came out or after. Um, God, I think it was before the movie. So we might have spoken about this in our last interview. But Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
So my son got really sick with Crohn's disease, which is the autoimmune disease I was mentioning earlier. And he was really sick, and the medicine he needed, which were shots that he has to take twice a month, $7,000 a month
Yikes.
for the shots. And here in Tennessee, they had just gotten rid of, they had taken like 200,000 kids off of, it's called Tennessee Health, 10 Health or something like that, you know? And my son was really sick and we didn't know what to do. And I had tweeted, like my local representatives, I had tweeted the company that made the medicine and everything. And it was Ian McKellen who retweeted it to all of his fans. And the next day I got a call from the AbbVie, the people who make the medicine, and they said, we saw Ian McKellen's tweet, and they gave us a free year's worth of medicine. It's like $80,000 worth. And you know, and I reached out to his people, because I don't have a direct line to him, but I reached out to his people to thank him. And but that's the power that a celebrity can do. They can do good with just like changed our lives just with a tweet. You know, it's incredible.
Yeah. And that's where, like I said, you just never know who likes your content, who follows your content, and who will just, you know, see your posts and follow your posts. And I think that's, like you said, the power of social media. Video is good. Obviously, that's why podcasts and live streaming is blowing up because it's such a personable thing that you can talk. I could talk directly
Yeah.
to you guys. I could put your comments up and engage with everybody. Let me take
Yeah.
this down here. Mr. Dewan, I had no idea you were diagnosed with autism. Scott, thank you for sharing your insightful story about your experience dealing with panic attacks and overstimulation. And that's why, like I said, that's why I make the friendships and the connections that I do, because like I said, everybody is going through their own thing, something to share, connect, make community. That's what the Color of Motion is all about, is community where you can connect and learn and engage with each other.
Yeah.
Definitely, and I want to put this back up, the book. Do you get this a lot as far as people saying, I can't learn to draw. I don't know how to draw, or there's something that they can't do, that you have to be
Yeah. Every day.
naturally talented to do it, type of
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. It's that's probably one of the. Oh, hold on. It's 3:30. There's my grandfather clock. It's about a minute late. I think I don't get that mentioned a lot online. That's usually something that people say when they see me outside drawing, is
Mm,
they say, "Oh, I can't draw. I can't draw a stick figure," is what they usually
yes.
say, or I can't draw a straight line or whatever. And I always say, "Well, stick figures are hard. And I can't draw a straight line either."
Straight lines are hard too.
Yeah. So, but the thing is I I will say I had a natural talent. My mom was an artist.
Yeah,
Her brother was an artist. My uncle was an artist. I had a natural talent. All that natural talent gave me was an easier introduction to art.
yeah,
It just meant that it came a little easier to me. But there are people who have when I was growing up, I had friends who were really talented. They were so much better than me naturally. And they're car salesmen. They
yeah,
work for insurance companies. They do this, they do that because they didn't pursue it. So your natural talent is basically like you're going to skip kindergarten. It's like,
yeah,
hey, you don't need to do kindergarten. You're naturally talented. You can go right to first grade.
yeah,
But if you don't keep studying, if you don't get through first grade and second grade and third grade and fourth grade, you're never going to graduate. But so you have no talent. Go through kindergarten. Once you get through kindergarten, you're at that same level that person who was naturally talented at. And if you keep going, you're going to surpass them. And so all it did was it just meant that I got to skip a little bit. I was naturally talented, but it was my passion. It was the fact that I practice, I draw every day. This is who I am.
yeah.
I made that who I am. And so because of that, but there are so many famous artists who are just not naturally talented. They just loved art and they just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree that there is such a thing as talent, whether it's
Yeah.
in sports or arts or anything. There are people who have a natural proclivity to things, but without the passion, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's
And they
that's the thing
and
I
they
get a lot.
still have to practice to hone it and make it better,
Yeah.
and for them to get better as well. It didn't. How long do you figure? Because you do have a unique style in the way you draw. Um, how long do you figure it took you to kind of fall into that kind of style that you have kind of today?
My style's changed so much over the years, and I think it's boredom that keeps changing it. I've done everything I can with it. I used to do more realistic stuff with colored pencils in my 20s and 30s, or mostly my 20s. In my 30s, I got sick of it. I was just bored of it, but I didn't have anything else to do, so I got into the digital stuff, and I was
Mm,
doing everything on the computer. And then in my 40s, I took it back up again, and I did watercolors, and then I tried gouache. But so for me, my style is constantly evolving. I'm always adding uh, something new to it. and it changes. Like the picture that's up right now is done in gouache. If you go to say the other one, which was Medusa, that was done in watercolor, and then I was having a hard time with the snakes, so I colored it in digitally.
Yeah.
And then there's others where I've done all watercolors, and then there's ones where I do with just colored pencil on a tanned piece of paper. And then there's ones where I do with markers, and each time I use a different medium, it has a different look. So I think I let the medium dictate the style. But one day I want to get into sculpting, and I want to
Mm.
try, other things too. So I think um, it takes about 2 or 3 years of heavy practice in a certain medium and style to get good at it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've got that in colored pencils. I've got that in markers. I've got that in gouache and watercolor. So I've got all of those, got the time invested into those so I can switch back and forth to those. And I have different looks every time I do it. So if I'm just not in the mood to paint in watercolors today, I could paint in gouache, or I could work in colored pencils or markers or something. And I like that. I like having that ability, that tool belt with all those different,
Yeah.
the
Being able
arsenal of
to,
weapons I could use.
and I like that about being a creative as well. I mean, I don't consider myself a photographer, but I do like, taking pictures and,
Yeah.
obviously working with cameras and things like that. Just being creative, whatever
Yeah.
outlet that shows up in, whether it's like you said, sculpture, that type of thing, whether physically sculpture or digitally, sculpturing type of thing, just as a creative. I love being a creative and watching people express their ideas creatively, however that may come out,
Yeah. Yeah.
and seeing the work that they, produce. Different mediums like this. I always love watercolor. Oils was the one thing that I painted in oils a little, but it was just too messy. So I always
Yep.
love gouache and watercolor. But, it's just some people are just, you see some people painting oils and it's just, wow. I wish I could paint like that in oils.
Yeah. Oils is amazing. I tried oils when I was in high school, and I think the paint's still trying to dry. It just takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever. You brush
I
it.
don't want to
Oh,
wait
man,
for.
I thought it was dry. I love
Yeah.
airbrush. I still have my
Yeah.
airbrush. I love
Do you?
airbrush and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So being a creative, however that might, shake out, that's the beauty of doing the show, and connecting with so many different creatives, because just the way they do it, stop motion animation, anything, is just amazing to me. Creatives that can get their story and their idea out.
Yeah.
Was there a specific reason that you did and decided to do your book?
The publisher, the editor for Hay House, reached out to me and said, "I love your channel. I love the things you talk about. I love how you encourage young artists. I love all of the lessons that you have. Do you think you'd be interested in putting that together in a book?" I had no plans of making a book. I got talked into it the same way I got talked into getting tested for autism.
But
I've
the
been
power of
I've been
social media,
hoodwinked.
people. That's the power of social media. When you put
It
your work
is.
out there, people see what you're doing and
Yeah.
they reach out to you.
Yeah. And then they trick you. And
Well, what was
so
the process like having, autism? Obviously, you went through it with the film, but having, I guess doing this, you knew you had
I knew.
autism in the process
Yeah.
of doing this book. So how was it creating and putting this book together, knowing that you had autism?
Well, the good thing is I got to do it the good thing about writing is you get to do it in the comfort of your home.
Okay.
So I did that, but I had this idea, and my wife said it was stupid, and it probably was. But I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun? Because when you do something repetitive, like you get up, you come downstairs, go to, even if it's the Hobbit hole like this, and you write however many words, and then you go have some lunch, you come back, you write some more, and then you do that enough, it just becomes your brain forgets it. There was nothing eventful. It's like these days were all similar, So I'm just going to categorize that as just a normal day. And
Yeah.
there's no, and I thought I'd really like to remember writing a book. I want to have that memory. So I had this idea of, well, what if we went to New York City and we, got a place, and I had this experience. I was just imagining, like, like in a movies, you see a guy at the typewriter with a cigarette in his mouth and and all that stuff. And I don't smoke, but I wasn't using a typewriter, but just cinematically, it looked good in my mind. And we somehow convinced the publisher that was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And they paid for it. And we went out there. And after 7 days, I just couldn't handle it anymore. It was so noisy. It was so, there's smells,
Well,
the crowds.
But why New York, though? I mean, because I had a friend who wrote he did his autobiography. He's a writer, and he wrote his autobiography. But I think I remember him saying when he was writing it, he was going into isolation, going to these secluded spots where he could sit and write and do that. So what made you pick like New York to go to write, I guess?
Here's the thing. We went through a bunch of, they said, they wanted art in the book.
Yeah.
Because I'm an artist. So I sent them my paintings, and they said, these are too nice. These are going to scare away young, you're going to show them Medusa or these beautiful paintings. They're going to, no, we want it to look, like your sketchbook, like your travel journal stuff.
Yeah.
So they decided that they wanted me to do a travel journal type of really rough watercolors, just black and white and inks. They wanted to feel very approachable.
Yeah.
And
almost like a textbook. Like I don't know if you ever seen like the animator's survival kit, where it's just like a draw guide. Almost like that.
And this is more just, what did I do? They wanted it to feel like a travel journal. So I was sitting at a cafe, and this cute dog was next to me. So I drew the dog, kind of thing. And just the idea came of, well, why not do it in New York? So it was kind of a combination of, well, why don't we were looking for where would I go paint? Was it going to be here around in Nashville? Go out to Los Angeles, like what kind of, and they're in Brooklyn. And so they thought, well, this, come out here. We'd love to see you. Come spend, 3 weeks here and do that. And so I was able to get all of the artwork done, which was great. And I was able to get a good amount of writing done. But that was the reason for going to New York. And I still want to try it again. Like I want to, there's a part of me that wants to conquer. It's not a fear. I mean, I was born in Yonkers, and I've been to New York enough times, but I think I was able to do New York for 7 days without a panic attack, which is amazing. Despite, but because I took the precautions and I was able to advocate for myself, I had headphones, and if a place was too loud, I would leave. Or we would say, you know what, let's go to Central Park where it's more quiet, or let's go to the library where it's more quiet, or let's just go hang out in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And whereas normally I didn't know, and so we would just be overstimulated, panic attack. And then I would be miserable, And so I want to see if I can go longer. I want to see if I can go to other places and not have a panic attack. And the more I do that, I think the more confident I'll be to leave the Hobbit hole, to go and do things. And so I think there's a part of me that just wants to keep pushing myself into those uncomfortable places. So that way they don't become forbidden for me. You're autistic. You can't do these things. I don't want to have those limitations. I want to know how to do that through the knowledge of having tried and failed,
Yeah. Well, I know, and we're going to throw some of these comments up on, I want to take this down because it's going to go behind it. The Sava producer.
That's my wife. You did think it was stupid.
Not well thought out, not stupid. I did not say it was Just ill-advised.
You
That's a
didn't
wife.
say it, but you thought it.
she said it was ill-advised of you to go there, and you went anyway.
Yep. She
So,
went with me.
She was looking out for you, so that's
Yeah.
good. For sure. Appreciate you joining and supporting your hubby on today's episode there. Bucky likes beans. Hi, Scott. I'm at a chalk art event, so I can't stay and listen. But chalk art, yeah, that's another thing. Chalk art's fun. I love. We have a fun chalk art event here in Houston as well. Type of thing. For you, what was kind of, because I saw the videos of just your process on putting together the cover.
Yeah.
All the revisions for the cover, which I kind of like some of the other drawings that you presented. I thought those made pretty good covers. So,
Yeah.
But what was kind of the hardest part? I mean, just in doing the book for you.
I'll be honest, the hardest part is the waiting for it to come out.
Mm.
I mean, I finished it. I finished writing it in December, and it doesn't come out till November 25th. So, we've been tweaking it, making little adjustments, and in about a week I'm going to go and record the audiobook. And we're doing the marketing for it, but gosh, the waiting is the hardest part. So I'm so used to making something and then posting it online and then getting instant feedback.
Yeah.
So I think there's just this. I spent a lot of time working on something. I collaborated with a publisher, and I'm really proud of it. But I won't know what people think about it until November.
Yeah.
And I know that that's a luxury. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I'm psychologically, that's probably the hardest thing for me, is just waiting to know if I did good, waiting to know if what I wrote is going to help anybody or encourage anybody or just make someone happy.
Well, I mean, so what are you hoping people walk away or take away once they get your book? Just, I won't answer that. I'll let you answer it. What do you want people to take away?
I think I'd like them to be encouraged. I think that's the biggest thing. I want them to be encouraged to make art to make them happy. Every artist wants to make a masterpiece every time.
Yeah.
I mean, no one wants to make bad art. It's like, it'd be like a baseball player hoping to strike out. Every baseball player wants to hit a home run. Every hockey player wants to score a goal. Except for the goalies, of course. And but it's in our nature. We don't want to make bad art, but the process of making art, even bad art, is still an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing, and I think I'd like to encourage people to just learn to love making the art, and then the good pieces, the masterpieces, they'll come, but just enjoy the process, enjoy being an artist, and then the rest of it will fall into place.
Yeah. And I think that's the way most creatives think. They just enjoy the act of creating and being able to create and get their idea out there, and all the extra stuff. People like it, the money that may come from it or the recognition, all that's kind of extra gravy on top of, just your love for doing whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, they get wrapped up in the perfectionism. They want everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
I knew a person who, they had a chance to have music in a movie, and they got so hung up on this opportunity being such a big opportunity. They were a musician and they just said, well, I don't have anything that's good enough. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, obviously, since they asked you for some music, they
Yeah.
think that you're good enough.
Oh,
Just write something. No, no, no. And they got so wrapped up on it having to be perfect that they
wow.
missed out on the opportunity.
Uh,
And I always felt bad for them because their perfectionism changed the direction of their career. They
yeah.
never got an opportunity like that again.
No. No, I tell everybody, imperfect something is better than a perfect nothing. So
Yep.
just put it out there and iterate along the way. If I don't, like I said,
Yeah.
if I'd have waited till uh, this show was as perfect as I could get it before I started it, we'd be in year 5. I wouldn't have done
Yep.
the first 4 years. So
Yeah. You learn
yeah,
as you go.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Again, everybody just jumping in. We've been having an amazing conversation with family and friend Scott Christian Sava, illustrator, animator, and now book author, for sure. Um, Again, like I said, there was such a gap in, when you first came on, and obviously uh, back then, generative AI and the thing with AI wasn't kind of the topic. You have a unique style. How are you as an artist, illustrator, approaching AI, you know, protecting your style, your IP, what you do as an artist, and your thoughts on AI?
I am, as passionately as I can, I am speaking up about the theft of AI and the dangers of it. You know, putting aside the how harmful it is to the environment, putting aside the fact that it's stealing from writers and musicians and artists to learn, putting those two horrible things aside, the only reason why there's anything like AI generated music or chat GPT or AI generated art, or AI generated videos is so that way rich, greedy CEOs and movie studios don't have to hire talented humans. It's the only reason. There's no reason to have it otherwise. It's not democratizing art for people.
Mm-hmm.
Art's been available to everybody and it's free. You get a pencil and a paper and you make art. It's just saying, no, we're going to steal from these artists and then we're going to make art with their art without their permission and we're going to not pay anybody. That's all it is. There's no benefit to society, there's no benefit to humanity for a computer generated piece of algorithmically generated image. There's no benefit to society to have digital actors or to have digitally created music or to have books on Amazon that were created by AI based off of stolen literature. There's no benefit to humanity. AI can't in any way improve upon art that's already been created. It can only copy it and mimic it in a less perfect way.
Yeah.
It can't improve upon the music. It can't improve upon the writing. It can't improve upon the acting or directing. So we're getting a lesser quality output so that way greedy
Yeah.
corporations and billionaires cannot pay talented artists.
Well, let
There's
me
no
ask
benefit to
you
it.
in the context of say usefulness in, because as it pertains to say branding and advertising and marketing, obviously their big thing is speed and iteration of ideas. Not saying that you're not going to illustrate the final piece, but like say for your book cover, using generative AI on your own art to say, hey, give me like 3 or 4 different versions of a book cover using my own art how much that would have sped it up as opposed to in presenting those ideas to say, hey, to the book publisher, which cover do you think works, and then go back and illustrate that book cover or the one. But
Yeah.
it speeds up the process of iteration because I know, like, because I do a lot of design commercially, like logo designs and this and that, how much faster, say, if I design a logo and kind of train generative AI on what I'm kind of looking for, say, hey, give me kind of some iterations of this design here that you think might work and kind of move from there. How do you see as it opposed, how do you feel as it pertains to training AI on your own art so that you can iterate and do things a little bit faster on your own kind of thing?
What you're talking about is a tool for artists.
Yeah.
You're not talking about something that's being used to replace artists. You're talking about a tool.
Yeah.
Tools are great. I would use any tool. I would use AI to help me with my art. I tell people you should trace, you should use photo reference, you should use, anything that helps you get the job done, use it.
Yeah.
But to make art, you're using it to help you as the artist make art. You don't type a prompt and say, make this cover for me, and then say, that's art. You didn't do anything. You didn't make the art. And so I think had AI been marketed to artists, hey, musicians, here's a way for you to brainstorm, use it as like a pinboard of ideas. Hey, authors, use Chat GPT to help you. Hey, I want help me with this sentence. I want it to have a little more Shakespeare to it.
Yeah.
Give me some examples. I think those are wonderful. As an artist, I'm thinking I want something that's a little bit more pre-Raphaelite, a little bit more impressionist with this. Give me some ideas. Oh, I like this, I like this, and I like this. And now I'm going to use that to go make art. Had they marketed it like that, we'd be perfectly fine. Go ahead, use the world of all of the world's libraries to help give artists better tools to make better art. Use all of the art in all of the museums to help artists make better, art. All of that I think would have been wonderful, but instead it's being used to replace artists.
Yeah.
And that's where the greed came in. They could have created something that would have helped make art better, and instead they made art worse and made artists broke.
Interesting.
But definitely, use the tools that help you. Definitely, I will always say that.
Interesting take. Okay, I did that one. I want to throw some more. You guys hop into the comments. Like I said, I always want this interactive show, for sure. Where are you hoping that this book kind of springboards your next kind of thing that you're thinking about doing? And do you feel like artists today are kind of having to do all these different things as far as bringing in revenue, whether it's a book, courses, programs, whatever it may be? We're having to, do all of this stuff to kind of make a living for ourselves now?
Yeah, artists have to be writers, directors, cameramen, costume designers. I have to be the actor. I've got to be the editor. I've got to be the sound guy. And then I've got to be my own marketing team, and it's exhausting. And I know a lot of artists who are just like, I'm not going to do all of that. And unfortunately, this is where we are. But thankfully I've been able to kind of stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
And I'm 56. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay ahead of technology, but I'm going to keep trying to stay ahead of it. I've been doing good so far.
Old.
But
I feel old. My birthday, I'll be 60 in a couple of weeks.
Oh man, happy birthday.
But I feel you as far as, you feel like you're learning, you're kind of having to stay at a pace to keep yourself up to date with because technology is moving so fast. things are moving so fast. The industry,
Social media is always popping up.
yeah, you know, like I said, job market is shaky at best, and you know, nothing's. I always say working for somebody is never guaranteed forever. You know, you don't
Yeah.
know when they can, you know, decide to let you go or whatnot. So you're always at the mercy of the company or whoever you work for if you're working for somebody else. But that's why I love this time that we're in, because you have all these things now at your fingertips that you can monetize your talent, your skill, your knowledge in whatever way, shape, or form you want. You can package it, put it out there. And even if you want to do something bigger and have to fund it, there's Kickstarter, there's all these other places to crowdfund your project if you want.
Yeah.
That's, you know, as a creative, I think this is a great time to be in as a creative, you know, because we have all these tools and things now, Unreal
Yeah.
and affordable stuff, you know,
Yeah.
Blender, Unreal, all these things now that we didn't have years ago, you know.
Yeah. It's YouTube mentioned that there are 20 million uploads a day on YouTube, 20 million uploads. And a good chunk of that is AI.
Mm.
And that's really, oh, Mr. Clock says it's 4 o'clock. Um, and that's really where the human condition is right now, is we're fighting against this technology
Yeah.
that sole purpose is to wipe us out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, I don't want to sound like I'm being melodramatic. The only reason why there is AI is to get rid of art.
Yeah.
They didn't create AI to get rid of washing dishes or doing the laundry or, you know, something that no one wants to do. They went for the thing that people train their whole lives to do, that they do passionately, that they love,
Yeah.
that brings meaning to humanity, and they're going after that to wipe that out. And it's so inhumane.
Well, do you feel like, because I always feel like, and this is just me, and I've said this before, as good as AI will ever get, it'll never replace a human. That's just me
It's
personally.
not true. Yeah, I wish it was true, but
I,
people people learn to like crap.
well, yeah,
They
they
don't
do.
they yeah.
But I mean, as far as the quality of what AI will put out, I don't
Yeah.
think it'll ever replace a human,
No,
that
no, you're
human
right.
quality. Now, people, yeah, they accept a lot. They'll
Yeah.
accept, you know,
But
some
when you say
quality stuff.
replace, you mean just in quality. Yeah, I think humans will always be innovative and always come up with something better. That's what we do, and AI doesn't have that capability of creating something new. But what matters as an artist trying to make a living
Yeah.
is if people are totally happy going onto YouTube or going to a movie theater or buying a book that is computer, you know, that is AI generated 100%, and if in 10 years that's all that's out there, because people are like, well, you know, I can watch a movie now for $1. Back, remember back when studios made movies and it was $20 for a ticket?
Yeah.
Well, now that they're AI, I can go watch all the movies that, you know, I can watch 5 movies for $1 because it didn't cost a studio anything to do it. And they'll go, yeah, and they'll, it's like you get used to eating crap.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
and that's where we're going. Is it's not that AI is going to make the art, the music, the literature, the movies better. It's going to make it cheaper and
Cheaper.
worse. And in doing so, people will learn to like cheaper and worse because studios aren't going to pay for better because they don't want to pay actors, they don't want to pay writers, they don't want to pay musicians or artists. And that's where it's coming to. And I mean, you see it all the time. You see people right now, we're at that early stage where people are sending each other videos of bunnies jumping up and down on a trampoline.
Yeah,
And
I thought that was just me. I was like, this gotta be.
yeah. And then if you look, you're like, oh, hey, that bunny just disappeared. It didn't exist, you know? And they're it's getting to the point to where people just won't care, or they just won't know
No,
that it's
yeah,
AI. And the more, like I said, think about it, 20 million videos a day
yeah,
being uploaded to YouTube. The more that is AI, the less that there's going to be humans able to make a living on it.
yeah.
And it's just destructive.
It's tough, and it didn't really. I guess I didn't start really thinking a lot more about it until I started seeing. Man, what's his name? I follow him. He does an animated series on YouTube. He has an animated series called Silly Crocodile. I can't think of his name. It's Connor. I'm sorry, something Connor or Connor something. But he created this animation. He does web series Silly Crocodile, and he's been doing videos lately talking about how AI, all these AI little knockoffs are cropping up and killing the algorithm of his show and confusing people about, and he was showing, and I was like, some of this stuff really is kind of crap that people are watching that, and that's the danger, of it. People are put anything up. I try and be a half glass full or a half glass full kind of person, and would hope people, even with all the AI crap that's out there, people will still appreciate the real artwork and artists that are creating stuff out there. But
You
again,
hope.
yeah, I would hope that. But again, I know there are companies that are going to, they're trying to cut costs. There are people, like you said, you do stuff enough, they get used to it, and it's just a habit, and they accept it, type of thing. I get that. So that's why the industry is having a rough time about now with just, dealing with this moving forward. But do you have, just long term though, do you have a positive or just negative?
I have nothing positive for you, Don. I'm just kidding.
I mean, down the line, as far as, do you feel like people really, now we're kind of in it, so they're seeing all this crap that's coming out, but do you feel like people that are true fans of the art, the creator, the creative, will appreciate just the true nature of how we create this stuff?
I think we got to fight for it, and we have to push back against it. If it just keeps going at the rampant political pace and the greed pace and the investor pace that it's going at, it's going to hurt a lot of people. And there's nothing really we can do about it other than to keep trying to push and push and push back against it. But if we're able to educate enough people, and enough people say, I don't want an iPhone with AI. I don't want my Android with AI. I don't want my Gmail to have AI. I don't want to watch AI generated YouTube channels. And if enough people push back on it, the investors are going to back off on it. And once the investors go away, because it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Once the money goes away, then maybe someone will actually use AI for something useful, like healthcare or, saving the planet or something like that. But my faith in humanity has wavered quite a bit over the last few years. So there's a lot of stuff going on that is not me. So I don't know. I just try to do what I can with the platform that I have.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. But I hope for the best. I hope that people want more artists. I want them to want more musicians and more actors and more authors and that's what makes the world worth living. I mean, if you didn't, it's just so funny because the argument is, well, now that you don't have to make art or music or writing, you can do whatever you wanted to. But that's what I wanted to
Wanted to do,
do.
yeah.
What am I supposed to do? And it's like, well, do you like playing golf? Yeah. Oh, guess what? We can play golf for you too now. We've got a little robot that can go out and thanks. Anything else you want to take away from me?
Oh man, I tell you, seriously, there are some movies and animations people you should watch because they are really kind of pathetic. If you really watch like uh, Wally,
Yeah.
says a lot
Yeah.
about technology and how
Yeah.
people,
They don't
says a
have to
lot.
walk anymore. They don't have to feed
No, none
themselves.
of
Yeah. Giant babies.
that. So definitely, I love, like I said, storytellers that can really kind of, like I said, wrap an analogy around a great story that
Yeah.
people just definitely don't get. I don't know if you've seen Electric State. That's on Netflix too.
I have it on my watch list. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it yet.
you should watch it. It's really good. It's
Uh,
really good too, for sure. But again, like I said, everybody is feeling definitely a certain way, one way or the other, about AI and the impact on it. But again, like you were saying, as creatives and artists, it's something that we do have to be vocal about,
yeah.
and how you use it. Just be mindful about how you use, the tool for sure.
Exactly.
So, everybody, like I said, we are going into our almost hour and a half here of the show. Let me jump back over here to this scene here. And been having a funny conversation with family member and friend, Scott Christian Sava, illustrator, animator, and artist. What advice kind of would you give, like, newer, the kids in the younger generation that you're speaking to, that you're talking to, that you're connecting with on your channels? What are the things that or what's the main thing that you kind of try to get across to them?
From an artistic point of view, it is to be okay with the mistakes. That's a part of learning. Just enjoy the process. I say art is a journey, not a destination. And so that's what I say from that point, from being an artist. And then just as a human being, just be kind. The world needs more kind people.
Yeah.
And so I try to make sure that I don't just talk about art. And in the book too, I don't talk just about art. I talk about kindness. There's a chapter called The Two Rogers, which is something I heard online, which is be like the two Rogers, which is Mr. Rogers and Steve Rogers, Captain America, And so I like that. And I think that that's a good way to live your life, is to, find role models and emulate them. We're not born good people. We're not born bad people either.
Yeah.
But we can become the kind of people that we want to be, and that takes work, and it takes a lot of faking it. You say, what would a kind person do in this situation? What would a helpful person do in this situation? Not what do I want to do?
Yeah.
What would a good person do in this situation? And you do that enough times, and then it becomes who you are. But a lot of it is just, which is, I guess, why I called it becoming an artist. A lot of it is just becoming that person that you want to be.
Oh.
It's about learning how to be that complete person.
Well, was that the first title that you came up with, becoming
No.
an artist, or
No.
what were some of the other? What was like some of the titles that kind of popped into your head when you were approached to do a book?
I think Draw Everything Every Day was one of the ones that, so it was basically stuff that I had talked about on my channel. There's no such thing as cheating in art, or draw everything every day. Little catchphrases.
Yeah.
But that, or maybe like The Art of Scott Christian Sava. But there was a few suggestions about like a
Mm.
how to draw this, how to do that. And I was like, it's really not a how-to book. And becoming an artist, just as all of my good ideas, it came while I was in the shower. So, so,
That's
so
the
I was
best
like,
place to
that's
get
it.
ideas. That's
Yep,
it.
yep.
Oh man, the best place. Uh Bucky likes beans. I'm watching this in the car with no sound. I'm not driving. Yeah, be safe. So I mean, I thank you for watching the show, but please be safe driving. So I'm just watching them talk, and to that point, definitely am still working on the audio podcast version, so you can just listen
Fantastic.
to just
That's
listen.
great.
That be coming out soon. I'm constantly working on that, so that should be coming out. So you won't have to worry about watching that. So, but I appreciate that, there, Bucky, for sure. Oh, I know what I missed on that nugget. You know, I got to drop a bomb. So, definitely, you know, those are great words of wisdom moving forward. And I think being a kind person is probably more important. One of them is, you know, be a good person. It's good to be a good person.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, this has been a fun conversation. And like I said, I always enjoy when family comes back to visit. And Scott, you know, you're welcome anytime you're working on something, or just to come back and say, hey, what's going on? You know, just wanted to stop back by the show. I love
Hopefully
that.
I can come back for the 200. That'll be really
Definitely
fun.
want to have you back for the 200th episode. Like I said, we are going to have a fun time for sure. Everybody, make sure that you hop on over, connect with Scott, because you just have to. And, and you need to, but you can check out, like I said, he does great videos. That's why, like I said, I love about Scott. He's leaned into doing videos, and obviously you've seen the impact that, you know, you doing your videos has made, not only on the people that are following you, so over 7 million followers and subscribers. You're obviously doing something right. I find the videos entertaining and educating and just enjoyable. I learned something just in being an artist. My thing is, and maybe you can kind of help me with this. You know, I've spent so much time digitally doing art now. Like I said, I started out traditional. Do you find you spend more time doing traditional artwork versus
Yeah.
digital stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only dabbled in digital art, a couple little stuff. Like I said, the snakes in the Medusa's hair, I colored them in digitally. But for the most part, 99% of it's traditional.
No. Okay. And I've been, like I said, my thing is just getting back into I've spent, like I said, so much time doing commercial digital
Yeah.
artwork that just getting back into the traditional stuff can seem like a jump, even though I've
Carry a
done so.
sketchbook. Just carry a sketchbook and a
Yeah.
ballpoint pen or something, or a pencil, and just. I found that the best thing to do is to journal. Just
Yeah.
I posted yesterday on Instagram and whatever. I sketched a snickerdoodle cookie when I was sitting with my wife. We were hanging out at a restaurant, and I will paint anything. I'll paint cars and places and food and whatever. And I have a bookshelf full of sketchbooks that have
Sketchbook.
just normal day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that just gets you drawing. One of the book possible titles was draw everything every day, and that thing is to learn to draw everything. You're not
Yeah.
drawing out of your head, you're drawing what you see. Get your hand and your eyes to work together. And but yeah, having a sketchbook is the funnest thing.
Yeah.
It's so much better than you're sitting at the DMV or you're sitting and you pull out your phone. It's so much better to pull out a sketchbook
Yeah.
and you're just drawing the people around you, or you're drawing the parking lot or something.
Yeah. And it's such a, like I said, if you do that out and about, it's such a connection point.
Yeah.
There's this guy, I don't know his name, and I just see his videos on Facebook sometimes, but he's an artist that lives in New York, but he rides the subway and he just sketches people and he gives them the sketch and it just start conversating type of thing. You'll quick sketch, and it's just, a way to connect with people for him, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Yeah.
it also builds his brand and as he's posting these videos and things and interactions, it's building his brand and it's putting his talent and skill out there as well. So
Yeah.
it's such a powerful thing, social media. I mean, I know it can be a
It is.
drain at times, but
Yeah.
it can be a powerful thing because, again, you don't know, I don't know, trust me, who is watching this show, who catches this show is the type
Yeah.
of thing. You just focus on the thing that you're trying to create and everything else happens around it. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, check out Scott's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Definitely check out his YouTube channel because, like I said, he does great videos on his artwork and drawing, and definitely you'll learn something for sure. Scott, I cannot thank you enough, for coming back to the studio and coming back home and sharing, what you've been working on, this book. One, I want you to tell people where they can pick this book up. Obviously, the link will be in the show notes, and all these links will be in the show notes. But tell people where they can pick this book up.
They gave me a dummy copy so I could show it. You can get it anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You should be able to get it anywhere at your local bookstore, on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble, on bookshop.org, Books a Million. If you're outside of America, you can get them at like Waterstones. Wherever you buy your books, go to them and just ask them to pre-order the book for you. It doesn't come out till November. So you're pre-ordering, and every pre-order really helps the publisher know if this
in
is
demand.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody wants it.
I'm so nervous. I want it to do well. Like
Trust me,
I don't
if
want to
it's
let the publisher down.
I get it, but trust me, everybody, I have the utmost confidence this is going to be a best-selling book because, like I said, Scott does amazing work. And I'm pretty sure he thought that when he was doing Animal Crackers, and it turned out to be an amazing thing. So go out, support it. Again, hopefully, like I said, when he comes back for the 200th episode, we may have maybe a copy or two to do a raffle giveaway type of thing.
That'd be great.
For sure. Great. I'll definitely be talking with you, Scott, about that as well. But support Scott. Go out and buy it. Again, all these links will be in the show notes, and you can definitely pick it up there. But I am super excited about this book, about getting it out there. I've been bringing a little sketchbook along wherever I go, and it's just such a great thing to do.
It's so good, Bucky.
It is. Taylor Goth, couple guests before, we talked a little bit about that as far as she uses it journaling, like you were saying, journaling, but it's just like a doodle book, and that's how she journals, just doodling stuff, and it just gets ideas out of her head and into a book type of thing. It's such a cathartic thing to do, for sure. Bucky, okay, you made it home to actually listen. Okay, we're glad you made it home safe. Definitely make sure that you continue to join us. And again, like I said, Scott, thank you so much for coming back, blessing us with your book, telling us about your book. We're going to try, like I said, when you come back for the 200th, maybe have a copy or two that we could do a giveaway. But we're going to have some fun on the 200th episode, and we definitely want you, Scott, to join us on that.
Thanks for having me back, too. This was so fun.
Awesome. If you could hang out for just a second in the green room while I close out the show, I would appreciate it, so I can talk to you afterwards. I'd appreciate it. But everybody, please help me thank again our very own family member and friend Scott Christian Sava for coming back by and blessing us. Hang out, Scott. This was fun. I'll be right with you. Hold on. Everybody, this has been a great episode for sure. I always love Scott's a fun person for sure. And like I said, definitely go check out Animal Crackers. That was it was a fun animated film and did super well on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, it's one of those fun Saturday afternoon type of just lounging around watching thing. And you'll enjoy it. And he's got a lot of great stars in it. Trust me. I can see how you can have a panic attack. I would too. So, man, oh man, I cannot thank you enough for hanging with me, sticking with me as always, every Saturday afternoon. This has been a fun episode. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Like I said, the 200th episode in November. December, we will be doing again GamesCon back out in Vegas, the Independent Film Festival, doing a remote live stream from there in December. So this season 5, man, oh man, it's going fast, but we are rocking and rolling. So you definitely want to hang on for the ride. Make sure you join us next week because it's going to be just as good. I am looking forward to next week's guests. We will be welcoming Malik Afebu. And I know he's going to, he'll get me right on that. But definitely looking forward to Malik coming. He is writer, director, film director, and storyteller with Slick City Media out of Africa. So we got our another African brother and family member coming to join us next week. So you definitely don't want to miss that as well. This has been a fun one, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great and productive rest of the week. And I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers, everybody.